So what have we got today?
Well, this morning we were called by a customer who has a dairy farm, and she said we've got this fresh Bulldog calf. We've had Bulldog calves before, but what's going on with this little guy is he's got the cow version of achondroplasia, so the cow version of dwarfism. And so these guys, they don't live. He was pushed out by his mum sometime last night, or maybe this morning, pretty much dead on arrival. And so the problem with these guys is that their limbs don't develop properly. As you can see, he's got really short little legs, and they also, it's a bone development thing, but it's also an organ development thing, I believe, because his heart is going to be inside there really, really enlarged. At least that's what I'm expecting. And yeah, he was never going to make it, poor little guy. So we're giving him a clean because he was pretty muddy. Inside, we take him inside and give him a proper clean, a bit of a towel down, and pop him in the freezer for now and think about how to process him.
So he's just come inside for a more detailed bath.
He's still quite slimy, as well as being muddy, because of course, like I said, his mum just pushed him out this morning. Oh, crikey, buddy. He's a big boy. His little face.
It's got soft,
little feathery hooves still.
little feathery hooves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quite a cute little face.
very cute little face.
But you can see why they're called Bulldog calves. Radio. So the end goal is to actually taxidermy this guy as well. So we want to make sure that any cuts that we make are incorporated into that plan. So really all I want to do at this point is take the guts out so that he can be frozen more easily, because he's quite hefty at the moment and the guts are often the heaviest part. So all I want to do is take sort of from about here to down to here, remove the intestines, remove the lungs, remove the heart. We'll probably prep the heart so that we can do a wet specimen of it, just because their hearts are really interesting. We've got one over here from another Bulldog calf, fairly large heart. The Bulldog calf that this heart came from is smaller than our little guy over here. It was Edith. We've got her skeleton on display. This one needs repotting. It's starting to leak. The jar's not very good, but we'll give that a fresh jar soon. But expecting that this little guy will also have a fairly enlarged heart, so we'll hold on to that. But everything else is going in the bucket, which will then go outside to be returned to the earth. And the body itself will go in the freezer so that I can do something with that nice and slowly when I'm ready. Where are we? We've got the navel right there. Navel right there, and we've got I believe that would have been his scrotum had he grown up. I believe, yes, looks like it. Does he have an anus? Sometimes they don't have an anus. Yes, he has an anus. Alright, so I know where I'm going. Let's go. Oh, it's quite a lot thicker than I was expecting it to be. That's good. If I pull this apart here, you can see the difference between the skin, the hide, and the connective tissue underneath as it connects to the intestines and the muscles. So if I'm being quite careful about how I skin this, I want to cut in between those two areas. I haven't quite, like I said, I haven't quite gone right through to the intestines. In fact, I think I might grab a new blade. I feel like maybe the hide and the hair have already blunted my blade. Or I might have just scraped it on something when I wasn't paying attention. That's also possible. Yeah, I'm going to grab a new blade. There we go, that's a little easier. So I'm not actually planning to completely skin him today. So I'm just coming back a little bit so I can get my hands in there to get the guts out, really. But a nice white layer of fat here attached to the skin because, of course, like I said, he's a brand new baby. I'll keep him going for a while until he can get nutrients from his mum. Oh, I know what this is. What's this tube?
Is that his ding dong?
That's his ding dong. That's his Willy Wonka ding dong. So when the animal is fully grown and you have a full-on bull penis coming out of there, I hear that you can actually dry that out and turn it into a whip of sorts.
You can, I've seen one.
Yes, I believe I've seen one too.
You're at least a metre long.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's only tiny. Look at it. Goes all the way from his bottom end to halfway up. That's impressive. Well done. So I'll come up a little bit further with the skin then, because of course I'm aiming to get the heart and all the other bits and pieces out. And if his ding dong's in the way, that makes me think I might be a little bit too far down. Yeah, here I go, blunting another blade.
How many blades do you normally go through when you're skinning an animal?
For a possum-sized animal, I'll go through at least 2 blades, maybe 3. And it does depend on the animal as well as to how thick the hide is, because if the hide is very thick, then I'm going to go through many more blades. I know like butchers will just use one good knife and then and give it a good clean and a good sharpen halfway through. But I'm a little bit stupid and lazy, so I don't do that. I just put a new blade on the scalpel.
I guess it's whatever you find easiest though, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm still on my learning to make blades nice and sharp journey. So I'm hoping I've got a big enough hole there that I can actually get all the bits out. So that was their navel hole, where the umbilical cord would have come in through the skin and fed directly into his bloodstream to keep him sustained while he was inside of mum. I don't believe it goes directly to the stomach. I believe it goes into the bloodstream. But, I mean, I'm not a doctor. What do I know? I'm not a vet. So where is the edge of his rib cage? It's actually way up here. So his lungs...
really short little rib cage, isn't
his
it?
lungs will be, and heart will be up here, all mushed in up here. And all of this very soft material in here, this is all his guts. And I'm really it feels like a water balloon, so I'm really hoping that when I cut into it, it's just not going to leak all over my shoes. We'll see. So where's that edge? There it is, it's up there. So that's the top edge of his sternum. There'll be a little bit more coming down here, but I don't actually even feel any ribs any further down than that. There we go. Nice organ there. I don't know what that is. We'll find out. There's a tube from his navel leading further in. Again, like I said, I don't think it goes to the intestines, but I could be wrong about that. It's full of blood. There we go. Lots and lots of guts. And like I said, I'm trying to be really careful not to pierce anything when I cut through that layer of connective tissue there. It may actually be muscle that I'm going through now. Layer of muscle, that makes more sense. Push your ding dong to the side there, my little man. We've decided to call this guy Biggie Smalls. Mostly because he gives the impression of being quite a large and tough young individual, but he's only wee compared to his siblings. Which is another interesting point actually. He's a Frisian Jersey cross. Frisian Jersey cross, so no inbreeding. It's unusual to see Bulldog Calf syndrome in something that's not got any kind of inbreeding, not bred for a particular breed. It's fairly common, more common in Dexter cows to see this particular type of syndrome. Not all that common in a Frisian Jersey cross, so this is just plain old bad luck that this guy's got this. That is quite liquid. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to just lift that out, but I'm going to give it a shot. Yeah, get that bucket. Now I've got bits of the liver hanging on here. Wow. So this is his stomach. What did they say? That cows have got how many stomachs?
A bunch.
A bunch, yeah. They've actually only got one stomach, it's just mini lobed. So you can kind of see one lobe there, and then there's another lobe underneath it.
I think it's 3.
3 lobes?
Yeah.
Something like that, eh? I remember hearing that when I was in primary school, that cows have got multiple stomachs, but I don't remember how many it was. And there we go, I found the end of it, that's good.
They make like grass vodka in their stomachs.
Grass vodka?
Yeah, cows are always a little bit drunk.
Really?
Yeah,
Awesome.
because of all the fermenting that goes on.
Of course, yeah. So I'm trying to cut his stomach free so I can lift it out, because of course it's attached to all his other bits, but there's a lot of blood in here. So usually I have the animal strung up to do this, but he hasn't got any ankles, and normally I string them up by the ankles, and he just doesn't have ankles. So I was a bit stuck. Yeah, I might have to drain him, I think. I'll
Okay.
tip him forward. Out of the way while I try and cut things free. We've got that many lobed stomach. There's a large lobe. There's a couple of lobes. I'm not sure what this grey thing is. Like maybe it's a pancreas. It's kind of pancreatic shaped. But I'm assuming that's a liver.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
liver.
that's a liver, right?
If ever I
Yeah.
saw one.
Yeah. Working on the liver now, getting the liver out. Yeah, that helps actually, thanks. There we go.
That's pretty huge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was meant to be a fairly large beastie, wasn't he?
Mm.
So there's that big sheet of material across there, that's the diaphragm, and in behind there is his lungs and his heart. I've cut off little bits of the liver there, I think. If we keep going down further here, that's still a piece of intestine, I believe. But right back in there will be his kidneys. So despite the fact that I do this sort of thing all the time, I don't actually know much about dairy farms and cows. So this little guy was born on a dairy cow farm, but he was obviously not going to be a dairy cow because you wouldn't have got much milk out of that. So what's his fate then? What happens to boy cows on dairy farms? I think they get carted off to the bobby calf people, don't they? They called bobby calves?
Yeah, bobby calves.
Mm.
But I think as the industry's trying to move away from bobby calves and
Yeah.
turn them into
meat cows, right?
beefies,
Yeah. Which makes sense. Why would you waste it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what I've got in my hand there, but it could just be...
Looks like bowel.
Yeah, it does look like bowel, doesn't it? Well, I'm losing cutting ability on this blade again. Yes, miss. We can hear you. We're aware of you. So this is muscle tissue that I'm cutting through now, and it's not red like in a full-grown animal. I suspect that's got something to do with the amount of oxygen that is exposed to the muscle that actually is used by the muscle. I'm not 100% clear on that. Like I said, I'm not a vet. But veal, or very young cow meat, does have a very different colour. So now I need to get in through that diaphragm so I can get his lungs and his heart out. So I need a new blade. Oh, that's very cutty.
Nothing like a new blade, is
Yeah,
it?
nothing like a new blade, yeah.
Especially when you've been using a blunt one.
Yeah.
You really notice it.
Oh, absolutely. So the diaphragm is a sheet of muscle that separates the gut area from the cardiopulmonary area, or the lungs and heart area, and it helps you to breathe. It helps you to breathe by pulling downwards, and as it pulls downwards, air is sucked in from above where mouth and nose are. There's his heart. Still in the gosh, what's that? Pericardium, the bag for the heart in the pericardium. There we go, so I'll pull that off. That's the pericardium there. And there's his heart. It's much smaller than I was expecting, actually. But that's okay. Find the top of it. I can cut it free. Very careful not to cut my own fingers off. I've managed to not do that so far in all of the animals that I've processed. I've managed to not cut my own fingers off. I've got close. Had a couple of mishaps. There's the top of a lung there. Beautiful. Alright, what do we not need? Excuse me, hold that, buddy, good boy. So that looks like lung tissue that has never actually been used. Normally your lung tissue is quite pink and spongy, it's a little bit like strawberry mousse. In this case it's quite, I want to use the word flaccid, but it's quite, I don't know, like, yeah, it's a deflated balloon, which is exactly sort of how you could describe it, I suppose. But there's none of that sponginess there that you normally see in a grown animal. But there's our heart, and I'll just take that off at the top there. Again, being very careful of my own fingers. It'd be good if I did it on camera though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could just go to the emergency doctors and they'd be like, what happened? You could just say, well, watch this. They'd love that, I'm sure.
Got any weird holes in the heart or anything?
Looks pretty normal actually, which is good. This is pretty close, actually, would you believe? This is pretty close to the size of a human heart. I'd expect my heart to be about that big. I'm not a large human, but I'd expect my heart to be about that big. Usually they say it's about the size of your fist. Again, it's like it's a little flaccid, like it's not quite fully inflated, but I don't know if that's because it's fetal or because it's deformed. I think a vet might have to weigh in there. I feel like there's an atrium missing almost, but again, I don't know if that's just because it's little and hasn't been used before. So we've got, it was in there like this, and we've got our, what have we got, our right, that's the right, isn't it? Yeah, because it's in him, so it's his right, yeah. So the right ventricle, the left ventricle, the right atrium, and like I said, I feel like there should be something here, but there's not much there. But yeah, if a vet feels like weighing in on that, that'd be great. And we've got our main arteries coming out of the heart at the top there. These all lead right into the left ventricle if it exists. I mean, sorry, the left aorta, atrium if it exists. It sort of seems to go down that way. It's a little bit too small for me to get my hand in. Oh no, there it goes. Yep, I got my finger all the way in. Yeah, it's there. My finger's about there. So I don't know, I feel like there should be more there, but I don't know. That's pretty cool. Off to the side. Let's see if there's anything else that we can remove so that he's not a giant pain in the freezer. Oh, there's lungs. And you can see all the way up in there. So that'll be his esophagus and his, shit, what's it called? Starts with T.
Trachea.
Trachea.
Is that all his lungs?
Yeah, that was it. Like I said, they were, was this it? Yeah, this was it. Like normally, they're much lighter coloured,
Yeah.
and they're inflated, they're spongy. But this isn't spongy at all.
I thought it was
think
just a piece of his lungs.
No,
like
that's
you look
it.
at the size of
Yeah.
them and you expect them to be much bigger.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe in a good one,
Yeah.
maybe they would be much bigger, but he's only got that tiny little space.
Yeah.
He was mostly guts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's not much there that I can see that I need to remove. All the rest of the tissue is actually his leg. So he can go in a bag now and pop him in the freezer. He'll be a lot lighter. Oh, his head's still pretty heavy though. He's a hefty wee guy. He's really cute.
It's going to make a great skeleton.
Yeah.